supplies in them, and you wonder, wow, that's pretty packed, Dave. What's going to happen there?
I have fans.
I saw some vents in some of your photos, which is good. So power supplies bring 240 in, put out DC voltage, and produce heat as part of that because they're not absolutely efficient. So I chose to look at a Meanwell power supply that I had lying around for this presentation, and the data sheet says it's 88% efficient. So that means that at full load, you're going to lose about, well, you're going to generate about 40 watts of heat in that box. Doesn't sound like that much, right? But if you're jamming a couple of power supplies in a box with no ventilation, it starts to add up pretty quick. So that's one of my power supply boxes. A couple of vents and a couple of fans and a bit of a baffle in the middle. And so I used this box to do some testing. A while ago I got an infrared attachment, camera attachment for my phone. So I can measure heat and I can also look at heat pictures and see, you know, hot spots, cold spots of boxes and so on. Well, this one was Apple, but there's an Android version, and you know, these sort of things are evolving and coming down in price. And I've got it here, so we can have a look at it as well. So I took a picture of the cat in the middle of winter, about a year ago. And so that's an illustration of, sorry, grab it, of the sort of things that we can do with it. And then last year when I was setting up, the things on the left are fuse blocks. And I figured, wow, those fuses are running a bit hot. Maybe I better redistribute that load. And strip actually runs pretty hot too. I think that strip on the right is 120 pixels, 60 pixels a meter. So anyway, I thought I'd run this test against this box. 1 completely sealed, 2 with vents installed, and 3 with fans on the vents. And I put about 300 watts of load on the power supply and ran it for an hour. And with the boxes that I use on my Megatree that have the fans going in and out, we can see that the temperature rise isn't too bad an hour later. You can see on the right hand picture that the cold side, or the intake, is up the top and the bottom is the outlet. So that seems to do the job quite well. And so then I disconnected the fans and ran it again. And you know, the start temperature is a bit different, but it's close enough. But there's a much bigger jump in temperature, which was a little surprising because I thought convection would sort of help a bit there, but not as much as you would think. So I ran the sealed one and saw about a 20-degree jump. The problem is that you can see where it's taking the temperature reading by the cross and the circle in the middle. And so I moved it around a bit more, and we're actually hitting 50 degrees plus in the middle of winter when it's like, you know, 15 degrees in the house at home. So that's starting to get quite warm. And I'd only just jury-rigged this test up, so on the right we can see that one of my wires was getting pretty hot too because it's undersized. But I wasn't too worried about that. So, as I said, middle of winter. So I looked at the data and I added 15 degrees to simulate summer. Whether that's fair or not, who knows? This stuff isn't accurate. It's designed to give you an indication of the sort of stuff. So where we get to is that the sealed box actually exceeds 65 degrees in the end, which in my view is alarming. You certainly wouldn't want to run a power supply at that sort of temperature in your show, I don't think. And I guess it depends a bit on where you live. You know, in New Zealand, you're probably, where is he? Over there. You're probably pretty well off in terms of the temperatures when your show starts. But down where I am, in Adelaide, it can still be 35 degrees at night. You know, as the show's starting. And so this test assumed 30 is the sort of starting point, or these results, sorry. So how do you ventilate your boxes? these are the sort of things that I'm using, and we've seen various other things that other people are using. David AVD's got a good page on his website that says where to get these from and how much they cost and so on. The ones on the right I've put on my new boxes this year. They're about 90 mil, and I just got them from Bunnings, and so they work pretty well. And the vents on the left, we did I think Andrew was selling a whole heap, and we brought some of them in, but there's other places to source them as well. So you've got to think about, well, I like to think about my power supplies and what direction they're blowing air in. So the power supplies in this box, which is one of my new ones, are blowing front to back or back to front. So they're blowing from the right side and then out the left. So I installed a baffle made of Coro in this case to make sure that the hot air doesn't escape back into the box, and so that it actually exits the box. So what do we learn? We learn that if your box feels hot on the outside, then it's going to be very hot on the inside. That's pretty obvious, but I didn't really think about that. And that vents alone, in my test, didn't do anywhere near enough for what... Your test, were they laying flat or were they vertical? Right, so they were generally laying flat. However, I reran the test for the one without fans and had it vertical to see if that made a difference, and it didn't. Or not, so, not a big difference. Yeah, one big or two? I had two. So one on each side? Yes. And I took the baffle out. I can't remember if I took the baffle out or not for that test. I think I did. Actually, I think I tried it both ways. That one doesn't have a fan, did it? Is that a fan, a circular fan, or is that nothing? It had the circular fan installed, but not turned on. So that white thing at the bottom was the fan, was it? Sorry. That's all right. It's just a vent. So that's the vent, and then that's what it looks like with the fan on the back. Oh, the one on the right, I wasn't testing with the ones on the right. Yeah, no. So that's why that's partially... That vent, the big ones on the right are actually connected to here in this box. So that's why I've got the baffle around it and using the power supply fans in that particular case. So yeah, pretty much ignore at your own risk. And we can pass this around for a minute, and you can each have a look at something on your desk, and we can see what sort of pictures we can take.
Actually, yours was the case of mine without actually.
Just pull the button on the back of it down. Pull this down. It's just asking us to try now. No, it's still asking. Sorry. So that's a hot spot around your screen. You can look at someone across the room, or... Oh, someone's got a hot head over there. This is a Fleur. So these guys make commercial... Yep, it's all right. Later. Yeah, these aren't designed to fit on the iPhone 6. I cut it up a little bit to fit. So it does come off if you're not holding it properly.
Try
the two GoPros. One's in the case.
Oh, sorry, it came off. Hang on.
My 4 runs hotter than the 3, but the 3's in the case.
Oh, the one on the right's much hotter. It's like 45, 46. The one on the left is running at like 36.
Wow. This is a 4 though, yours is a 3.
3 plus.
Yeah.
It's warm. What's the price?
You can only hold it.
Yeah, so you can, you guys can grab it if you want to have a look. Yeah. Sorry?
What's one of these?
It was a couple of hundred, I think.
Yeah, it's about 350.
I don't remember. I had to import it at the time. But yeah, you guys are welcome to have a look at this some other time as well.
I just picked mine from work. What I ended up doing with a lot of mine was using.
I think it wants to be See, most of the laptops have a warm spot in the bottom right, is what we're finding walking around the room.
I use the fans from the power supply to actually feed the fan that exit
Yeah,
at the top,
yeah.
and it made a heck of a difference.
See what it looks like.
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
Shut the lid just to see what it looks like.
Really? Half an hour?